Okay, I'm not sure if I'm live yet. I think my internet's not great today, actually, so this may be a bad idea, but I'm just gonna talk until I know that something's happening here. Is it live?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
it
not
is
sure if
live.
I'm live.
Ah! Okay. Okay. It's just me, but I'm going to actually post the Zoom link in the chat as I like doing sometimes. I like trying to see if somebody will randomly chat roulette, um, and no one has taken up the dare yet, which is unfortunate. Okay, I'm gonna do that now. If you do want to join in because you have thoughts on their types or you're bored, feel free to. I'll let you come on unless you do something really horrible, or just sit like a lump because those are always boring. You don't have to be good at typing. I'm just bored on a Thursday. Okay. So I am typing for sure, and maybe some other people. I have a huge list of people that are already soft type that I want to make videos for. I'm kind of just sick of editing, and I don't want to do it anymore, and I don't want anybody else to do it for me. Thank you. Um, okay, I'm gonna type Logan Oatmeal. So she has my favorite Instagram page. She does pranking. I'll show you the screen in a second. She does prank calls. I think they're on sale right now. I've been tempted to buy one. um, and yeah, so I kind of want to use this opportunity actually to just talk about. I think she's a nine wing eight core. We'll start from there. Um, I think nine wing eights make the best trolls. I think this is partly why a lot of nines that are nine wing eight don't like being typed nine wing eight because it's like, what do you mean I don't like exist? Or like, what do you mean I'm like passive, blah blah blah? Because like nine wing eights are kind of assholes, and I like assholes, so I'm not saying that in a negative way, but they can be kind of, I think, the best prankers because they can do like a fucking deadpan, complete, like not giving away the thought that it's a prank. I used to prank call all the time with my friend who was a fellow seven wing six, and it was so terrible. Like we would always get caught. It was a prank. She was vaguely better at me than me doing it, but so also this might be points for having a seven in her typing, which is where I'm at. But I'll just play a couple of her videos because they're funny. And this is kind of all I have to go off for her actual type because she doesn't have like interviews as far as I'm aware anyways. If you're into visual typing, which I'm very much into visual typing and checking in to see how it matches up. She kind of has a nine wing eight, seven wing eight sort of face. Um, I've noticed sometimes like seven wing eights, not always. Seven wing eight, sometimes like even 1 9 9 8 7 8 space can have like high arching eyebrows, kind of dramatic, which she only kind of has in some when she's doing like this very specific face. Um, mm, Kind of doing this. I don't think she has one in her type though. She actually weirdly kind of looks two fixed-ish, but I think her heart is probably three wing two-ish. She's got kind of a soft presentation. I'm leaning social sexual right now. She might be self-pres social. Sometimes they're actually hard to tell with nines because nines already kind of seem like body types. Well, because they are body types, but I mean they kind of seem self-pres. To begin with, all right, I'm just like yabbering, so.
Looking to speak with Mr. Mick.
This is him.
Hey, this is Martha from Peak Performance. Were you?
Oh, okay.
Hey, sorry, yeah. It's my first week here, so I'm just doing call arounds. Were you aware that we are under all new management and ownership?
Was not.
Okay, we actually did just like get full like blow out all new employees these last few days. But I am calling because we were wondering if you wanted to move to a different gym, if we could cancel your membership here.
At peak performance?
Uh-huh. We have a lot of felons in here, and they said that you were just kind of making them uncomfortable coming in your uniform. We actually have 2 guys that's on the run right now, and you know, they really want to get their lifts in, and they said that they just can't do it with you coming in. They are great customers, so we don't want to give them up or anything.
Is this a legitimate call?
Yeah, we had a concern that you were running plates in the parking lot the other day.
That I was running plates in the parking lot?
Uh-huh.
It takes balls. I'll say it takes balls to prank call a cop.
Is that true?
Which also points to her being like a positive type, because it's like, you would do something that crazy. And her having 7, maybe?
Buddies are top performers here, and you know, even because you're a police officer, if you see a felon messing around, you know, and you're not on duty, you know, you don't have to worry about it, right? We're just all here to work out, have a lift or 2. And then I did. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Were you aware that you grunted a lot when you lift?
No.
I was trying to take a selfie video, and it's like the background's just like, you know. So maybe we can work on that too. Is it illegal to prank call people?
I don't know why this one isn't making me laugh the second time around, but oops, which one is this? That one's so gross. It's good. Wait, where's another one I like? Okay, here. Actually, I'm vacillating on her head. Maybe it's 7 wing 6 and the head's under. Oh, wait, can I see chat? If anybody feels like commenting, feel free, but I don't know how to see the chat. Why does this happen every time I do this? Okay, now I can see the chat, but nobody's commenting, so it doesn't matter. What was I gonna say? Oh, yeah. I just think 9 wing 8s can better do like the flat. Like I think we typed Nathan Fielder like a 9 wing 853 or something, and he's like another like the Nathan for you guy, and he's really good at doing the just like keeping in character. And I've also just anecdotally noticed that 9 wing 8s can do that. It's crazy.
Shelly?
It is.
Hey, Shelly. I actually was just on Indeed, Job Fair, and a couple other websites, and your number just keeps popping up. Are you somebody who works with the elderly still?
I am.
Okay, I actually am looking for somebody in my area to do a private job with me. Do you have any available time that you're looking for side work?
Yeah, sure. When were you thinking?
Okay, anytime that works best for you. So I did just start an online business where I am bathing the elderly in my home. Mainly homeless elderly, but really any elderly that I see that looks like they need a good bath. Is there a time that you can come to my house and help me?
I'm sorry.
Is there a good time that
You're starting a business where people come to your home and you bathe them?
Yes, ma'am. It is a free service that I'm offering, nonprofit. But I don't know if you've seen a lot of elderly. I'm sure you have working with them, but a lot of them just look like they need baths. So I am starting. Yeah, I got a laugh from the Shark Tank crew too.
I am so sorry. I don't mean to laugh. I've just never heard of that before. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. I got a couple giggles my whole life. I do like to come up with good ideas. So, you know, you get a laugh at first and you get $1 second. So that's what I always say.
Hey, right. Any way to make $1, right?
My problem is I've never bathed so much as a cat before. So I need somebody with experience.
Yeah, bathing a cat and a human's a big difference.
Mm-hmm. One has a little more hair and it's not the cat.
Oh, goodness.
Like
Yeah,
she's not even cracking. Like she rarely cracks. Sometimes she cracks a little bit, but it's like I don't know. I feel like this is like 9 wing 8 excellence that I don't think a head type, for example, can pull off.
That's okay. I am like looking to do a couple other jobs. after I get through the bathing process. I'm just looking for some people to help first, but we're really open to all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. So what area are you from?
I'm in Georgia.
Because
I just moved here from Ohio.
Oh, okay. What part of Georgia?
Like the northern part, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Are you near Cannon?
I'm sorry?
Are you near Cannon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate you calling. Thank you.
You're welcome. Can I save your number for when I get going?
Sure, absolutely.
Is there a time that I can practice on you?
This can't be for real.
No, I'm just prank calling you.
You're really good.
The lady's cute.
You got me. I felt so bad laughing at first, and I'm like,
No, that's so funny. I love a good giggle.
You made my day. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. If you change your mind.
For real.
Oh, Brianna asked me to prank call you.
Who did?
Brianna.
Oh, that's my daughter. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's okay.
If you change your mind, and you're looking for a free bath, just call me back, okay?
Okay, absolutely.
Okay, love you, bye.
Bye.
She tells people she loves them at the end, which is not 2E, but yeah, I don't think a 2 image would do this. This is like next level. So I think there's like the 9-3 ability to just completely morph into the character, morph into the role. I guess probably 7 wing 6 is the head. So I think 3 wing 2 heart. She's charming. She doesn't seem pretentious. This is so unprofessional. And yeah, I'm leaning social sexual for her. I don't have a lot to go on, like I said, for her instincts. She's obviously not social blind, but there's something, I think, almost like, I can't see a social self-pres necessarily like turning a whole channel into like doing these pranks. SPSO might, but I don't know. I feel like she has like no wall, kind of. Like, she's very just open, and I also almost think that SP would add a sort of, I don't know, like maybe fear of like how this might affect future job opportunities. I don't know. I'm just kind of like making this up, but yeah. Check out her channel because her stuff is really funny. I'm trying to find oh god. Why isn't it easier to do these? Okay, and next, I guess that was pretty quick because I don't have a lot to go on here, and there's only a couple people watching, so I don't know. Social sexual, 9 wing 8, 7 wing 6, 3 wing 2. If anybody has other thoughts than that, feel free to add them. Also just like anecdotal. I know the 6 heads hate this, but not all of them. Maybe just the ones with a 1 fix, but it's a thing. It's a thing. Nose rings, eyebrow rings, like all the rings, like 973s, 973s, especially 9s. I've just noticed they love their nose rings, they love their eyebrow rings. Of course, other types can get it, but it's a pattern that I've noticed. And maybe you have too. Okay, who am I going to do next? This feels so undynamic to me with just me doing this myself. But I was in the mood and I didn't want to wait for anybody else. So, okay, I'm going to type Rachael Raygun. So she's the, let me find some video. She's the Australian chick who just like embarrassed herself at the Olympics on the breakdancing. I don't care about the Olympics. I'm not going to talk about any of that stuff, but and I don't even care about this really, but people kept sending me the memes, and I was just like, well, then, obviously you're really into the Enneagram, and it's like you can't help but be like, who would do this? Like, what type of person would be that? I don't know. I don't want to say like unself-aware, um, that they would just not know, maybe, that how they're coming across. And all I could think of was 9 or 7. So, yeah, she was actually, I've soft typed her. She was actually kind of hard to type. Oh, video is unavailable. Oh my gosh, maybe there's culling the internet because she's requesting. I think she did make a post on her Instagram saying that I'm not going to play it, but she's getting a lot of hate and her family's getting hate and people are harassing her. And I looked and her comments are pretty bad, and I do actually feel bad for her. I think she got into the Olympics potentially through nepotism, and people hate that, but it's like, I'm sorry. I feel like the people who get the most like riled up about nepotism, it's like, if you can help your friend, your family, whatever, your lover, you're gonna do it. Like I don't know who these people are that they think that they're like, everyone has to earn it. It's like, if someone I could go on a social tirade about this right now. It's like, what does that even mean? You earned it, or what? You like hire someone because they're a certain sex or a certain color of skin? Like, it's all stupid. Everybody has their own metrics for all of this stuff, and like to pretend that every single person is like fucking neutral is like lying to yourself. Anyways, did she deserve to be in the Olympics? I don't know. I don't fucking care. The Olympics are irrelevant. It's literally an Illuminati, like, globalist fucking scam. Like, if you watch their opening shows, they're all like they literally, if you watch some of the old ones, they were literally calling into they were using manifestation techniques. Oh, yep, this video is also unavailable. Okay, well, we'll watch whatever I can pull up here. They use visualization. CERN does it too, CERN, that's the Hadron Collider. They do these rituals. They have I'm sure a lot of the people involved don't know what they're doing. But they did a pandemic one, and now we're about to have pandemic 2.0, except for with pustules. Fantastic. So yeah, if you didn't know that, watch some of the old Olympic rituals. I can't remember which year it was that did the COVID one. Maybe it was 2012, 2013. I could be totally off the mark. Really bad at details. Anyways, okay, I'm gonna start typing her now that I've lost every follower. For my rant. You know what? No regrets. Okay, Rachael Raygun. But yeah, this does seem like a positive type thing. Positive types are prone to these kinds of like positive self-delusions. And I don't know, maybe she is talented at breakdancing. I don't know what good breakdancing looks like. I mean, I didn't think it was what she did, but I commend her for trying to like, she did try to do like a positive reframe on it and like make it work for her, and like be like, wow, like I'm gonna turn, lemons into lemonade, or she didn't say that directly, but I think she sort of capitalized on it, let's say. And the way she holds herself doesn't look not assertive, so this is why I'm leaning 7 for her, even though she doesn't seem like a, maybe like what I think of a 7, but
So my name is Raygun and I'm competing in breaking. So I got into breaking through my boyfriend, who's now my husband, but he was always very encouraging of me to try it out and to learn the moves. How did I get to this level? I trained really hard.
So yeah, a few things there. I know that like sometimes, maybe partly my fault too, that people think this, but where it's like an attachment type, like it was like goes into like whatever's there, or like whatever their friends value and this kind of stuff. And I do think she's probably a 3 and 9 fix, but I think the 7s can do that too, because they have shiny object syndrome. So it's like if something looks fun or enticing or exciting or funny or whatever, or they get FOMO, they feel like they're going to be left out, then they can like glom onto that thing. It's more of from a space of FOMO and gluttony though than and obviously the kind of ADHD that's already baked into being a 7, then I think that it is like for maybe an attachment reason where it's like, oh, this is valuable. It's like, no, this sounds fun. Like this looks exciting. I trained really hard. I mean, sure, that's like she would have to train really hard. I think she's SPSO, so self-pres social. So focus on body build skills building. Um, yeah.
I was hungry and I wanted to win. I kept pushing and I'm still pushing. Career high.
Yeah, and that's kind of assertive talk too. I wanted to win. So I think she's double assertive, being 7 and 3. Pushing, I had to keep pushing, also like an assertive thing. And sevens are doing in the head center. They're active in the head center. So even though they're like head types, they're still actualizing. Like for example, right now I'm doing this because I just felt like actualizing. Because that felt more interesting to me than having an anxiety spiral about what's coming up in the world.
I like winning the Oceania Breaking Championships. I think my biggest obstacle would be breaking into a male-dominated sport, pun intended.
Reductive, but sevens and seven fixers do love their puns. I hate to say.
My training routine in 3 words would be intense, creative, and challenging. I wish more people knew that breaking wasn't all just about flips and power moves. It's so technical, it's creative. One of the reasons
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is like creativity gets lumped in with 4, but it's also 7, it's also 9. I mean, every type is creative, but sevens, I'm a 7. Sevens have ego around being creative, and she does make a point. I don't know if I'll get to them in some interviews and quotes where she's like emphasizing her originality and like she has her own original moves. So for 7, like that is important. And you know that gets attributed to 5 a lot for some reason, but I feel like it's more actually a 7 thing, and more noticeably a 7 thing, because I think 5 still have that, but it's like 7s are trying to make things happen with their originality, and so they want, like, as an assertive type, it's like I'm putting it out here, you know, whereas 5s can be more contained about it. Not that I think anyone would think she's a 5, but
I decided to start training breaking seriously was because I saw a girl in a room full of guys get down and break, and that was the moment that inspired me.
Yeah, and there's something too that's kind of 8-ish about this. So I think I don't like I think this is 7 wing 8. So because 8 is kind of a masculine energy regardless of what the person is. And it's sort of I think probably a lot of 8 women probably have, this is reductive, but maybe more male friends than women, because they are kind of a dominating big force. And um, and I think as a wing that shows up as a flavor versus like the overriding thing. But the 7-8 space can be a lot, and also feel, I think, like how I look at the assertive triad is like, which is 3, 7, and 8, is that they're overcompensating kind of. Again, I'm saying that as a 7, where it's like there's a kind of like need to like take up space, or like how 3s do it obviously is with achievement, how 7s do it is with kind of this like originality or razzle dazzle, like they're kind of, it's like Broadway. It's like, I mean, she's sort of doing a version of that too with the breakdance. Being weird too is one of them, and then 8 is taking up space, like can be literally, but where there's sort of like all right, like I'm the one in charge kind of thing. So anyway,
a go-to breaking move is like a knee slide move, and I feel like it kind of captures what my style's about. The perfect breaking outfit for me: some fresh sneakers. I like jeans, an oversized t-shirt, long sleeve top that you.
Yeah, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if like a lot of 7 wing 8s were kind of tomboys. I think it's like they kind of run a spectrum of being like uber Barbies, like sort of like that like kind of female Chad meme. where it's like the Barbie with the huge tits and the pink dress and the like the heels like this, like with the big blonde ponytail or whatever that cartoon meme is. And then also, ooh, Calvin, do I have a guest? Okay, stop the share. Is this Calvin that I know?
Congrats, you have the universe has spoken. You've got some random person you've never encountered before. No idea who you're typing. Congratulations.
Oh, well, I'm happy to see you. And I like that you've got like a cool hat on too.
Um, I mean, I have it all the time. Well, a lot of the time, but yes. Please continue.
Ooh, do you have any thoughts you want to add or anything you want to?
No, I know. Like, I literally I was just on YouTube and I was like, oh, Goblins of Discord live stream. It's like, okay, I'm checking it out. And I just watched I just watched like the first 2 minutes and then it's like, oh, I want the universe, someone to pop in. It's like, okay.
Thank you. Well, thank you for answering my call. I like it's more fun when there's like people to do it with, but then I also just hate asking people and then trying to coordinate. It's such a pain in the ass. Um, okay. Did you watch any of this Rachel Raygun?
No, I have no clue.
I was kind of watching a bunch of boring shit. We can watch, but her actual things keep getting taken down. I think that she might have filed a complaint for. I think there's been a little bit of hate against her. So we can watch. I mean, I don't know if you've seen.
I have no context around this. I'm going in pretty blind.
I'm not sure if this. I think this shows some of it. Oops.
Historic and vibrant debut of breaking, commonly known as breakdancing, as it spun its way onto the Grand Olympic stage. Amidst the splendor of Paris Place de la Concorde.
Okay, is this where it is? Sorry. I never prepare for these. I can't tell what's different about it from the other person's, but it just doesn't look very good. Like it looks like she's just making it up. But I'm no breakdancing expert, so like that looks like a mistake, right? Like that, but I think she might be like a weird 7. I don't know. Okay, we can watch. Oh, I'm smashing both stereotypes. I love it when people do this in interviews because they're literally setting themselves up to be absolutely lynched online. It's like, I'm the first person to ever do XYZ. Like, okay. Oh.
Because one of my weaknesses has been dynamics. So I've been trying to get a lot more dynamic moves, a lot more freezes and power moves. Some of the stuff that's more Jeff's specialty, J Attack's specialty. So whereas mine has been style and creativity and musicality. So I'm trying to kind of round out my repertoire a bit.
Yeah, I've got to congratulate you.
What is musicality?
I wonder how many times they've used that word in their life. Like, do they have it in like the back pocket? It's like, okay, I'm just gonna throw in musicality in every interview just in case.
I think it's like a 9779 thing too, specifically that like they just make up words. Maybe other types do it too, I don't know, but maybe that is a word and now I'm being a fool, but
A university professor as well at the same time. How do you combine the two?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, yeah, look, I'm totally smashing both stereotypes, really, aren't I? But it's nice to be able to push myself in different ways, and I feel really fortunate that I've had both of those opportunities. Yeah.
At least your profession is sort of related to your dancing. So you're a professor in breaking and a competitor. Is that how it works?
Yeah, it does. I mean, yeah, I get to research breaking. I get to talk to people about breaking. I get to read papers on breaking. You know, my whole life is about breaking. So I feel really fortunate that.
I think sometimes that can be a 7 thing too. a little bit, maybe other types a bit. Well, fives I think too, but where it's like you make your whole life about your interests, where it's just like everything revolves around your obsession. And maybe she'll move on to a new one in a few months.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, I didn't see like the first 20 minutes, but have they talked about anything else outside of breaking, or made reference to like any other previous interests they've had, or is it just breaking?
Just breaking. I mean, I knew that she was a teacher, but I've just watched a little bit. I actually just previously typed somebody before her. Um but yeah, she's like I didn't even know you could teach breakdancing, but I think she's also all about like bringing things into culture. So, um and like spreading awareness about Australia. So I was like, that's kind of weird maybe for a seven to do, um I've actually struggled a little bit because I was like, first I was like, maybe she's a nine wing eight, but then I was like, she's too assertive. She's too grandiose. I feel like a six would feel too cringe doing what she's doing. Um, and yeah, she doesn't seem withdrawn. Kind of just been like, and I don't think a fucking I don't think a three would do this. I don't know, did you have any like pings off her type?
Well, again, I would say in the heart area, it's like three wing two, in heart space, just that overall kind of, again, they made the sense of like, oh, I'm spreading, not only spreading like the culture, but like interacting with people, teaching people this. It's like there was a certain glee. So like, the stereotyped three wing two life coach kind of popping in.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, she does have like ego around teaching and being a kind of good role model, which I think if seven wing eights can be villains kind of too. Like I don't know if she is for sure a seven wing H. Maybe she doesn't seem like ADHD enough to be like a seven wing six, but um and then I was thinking maybe nine wing one gut and giving her like a bit of one super ego too. But do you think she might be a core three?
I haven't seen enough.
I like to be open. She was confusing me. Kind of jumped around from a few types.
I can go that deep into my sport, into my dance.
What do your students say when they know now you're going to the Olympics?
Yeah, they're surprised. They think that I'm joking to begin with. They're like, yeah, okay. But then they Google me or something, and they're like, oh my gosh, she is. And then they get on board and they tell me that they're going to watch me and cheer for me, which is really nice. So it's been really cool to see their responses.
She kind of does some 60 faces a little bit, but that's kind of a funny way to end it. Like, did I perform enough?
Did they even mention the words "I'm smashing both stereotypes" in that, like, what, 1 minute 20 seconds?
Yeah, they did at the very, very beginning, but I think she said
Okay, I
it
wasn't paying attention.
too. I think she's like said it herself. But I feel like every time somebody does that, yeah, they just completely fuck themselves over. And I do feel like it's positive types that do it often. Um, but I don't know. Oh.
Were created. So many of the moves and ways of moving were created and normalized and kind of built for the male body and a masculine way of moving. That's not to say that women can't learn that, but it does mean that sometimes it's policed. You'd be criticized for dancing too much like a girl, or you'd be criticized for dancing too much like a guy. And it was really hard to find your own kind of avenue for expression that people respected. And so as I've continued in breaking and I have found new expressions and I found my own way of moving, I feel like I've shown my skills, show my style, and I've got respect for that. And so that is so incredibly valued that I've got that agency now.
Like this kind of sounds like autonomy type stuff, right? Like this is where I started from, was like, is she a nine wing eight? but she doesn't seem, but she seems delusionally assertive.
Hmm.
She looks wing 8 to me, but I don't know if she's like, it could be like 7 wing 6, 9 wing 8, or 7 wing 8, 9 wing 1. That's sort of the general area I'm circling for her other centers, but yeah, I'm open to like change my opinion because she's, yeah, been harder to type than I thought she would. Oh my God, why? Why? Why is he keep doing this?
Going into breaking was very strong.
Your background's in ballroom dancing, right?
Yeah, I did ballroom for many years, and I also did jazz and tap and some hip hop as well.
Is there any kind of parallels between the two?
Look, I mean, I think my understanding of musicality going into breaking was very strong. My body awareness, my coordination, my eye for technique has been much stronger going into the dance. I think my understanding of musicality going.
It's again with the musicality.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting. Again, they're focusing specifically on like they have all these other areas, and it's like it is kind of intertwining all of them, but she's solely focusing on breakdancing in itself, or
Yeah.
it's like everything else has led to the point of breakdancing. If you think of it as a continuum on a line, it's like I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this, and then I'm incorporating everything and incorporating it into breakdancing.
Which is sort of maybe a 7-ish, 7 fix-ish thing to do, maybe 9-ish too. What were your thoughts on that?
Nothing like very concrete yet. Again, I am generally finding that, in terms of like, fixes, freewing, I can see that kind of freewing to 7 wing 6,
Yeah.
that whole kind of, I think it's more so this kind of like more lighter, like that's a very light kind of like bright kind of overall stem combination that I'm getting.
Mhm.
I'm not feeling like a 7 wing 8 kind of yet, like more kind of like openly, like even more openly like bratty, or kind of
Yeah.
pushing against anything quite yet.
Yeah, you're right. So then her gut would probably be 9 wing 8, if it's 7 wing 6. I think sometimes I find it hard because I expect 7s to be, yeah, like you just said, bratty, like overtly bratty, but then I was like, she doesn't seem withdrawn enough to be a 9. And this is kind of where the trap that I got into. I know that 9, like she's talking a lot about body stuff too, so I think she's SPSO, so that can sometimes be the fixation anyways, but like what do you think like about like an assertive 9 wing 8 or something? Like does she seem like she doesn't seem droopy enough or like sleepy enough?
Do you have interviews where she's like, again, she's only talking to like the camera mainly, but she's like interacting with like someone, bouncing off someone specifically, like interviewing, and you can see the back and forth interplay? Is there any of that?
Oh yeah, I found one. Okay.
Here we are in the beautiful 35-degree sunny Paris with Rachael Gunn, who is representing Australia for breaking. Why is it called breaking, not breakdancing? Is there any reason?
In the early 1980s, the media called it breakdancing, and that was not the right term. Breaking's always been the right term, so breakdancing's associated.
I mean, this is a little 6-ish and 1-ish. Not that that's necessarily her type, but she's caring at them right out the gate, which is kind of interesting.
Associated with that era of like disregard for the culture and the people and the different dance styles.
Okay. And how is it scored? Like, what's the criteria?
So it's a comparative judging system. So the judges are literally just comparing you against your opponent. They are scoring you on 5 criteria: execution, technique, vocabulary, your repertoire.
You know, obviously speaking. Because even then I was like, like some Shakespeare and then get into it.
So your range and variety, repertoire of moves, musicality, and finally originality. So originality is your creativity, how much you've progressed from the foundation, but it can also be your spontaneity in the moment and also the character that you bring on stage, like that stage presence.
Wow, so you're just sitting there doing a million head spins.
Do you get anything off that?
More so it's just like it just more so confirming freewing too hard further.
Yeah. I'm trying to imagine her as a 3. That, I mean, if she was a 3 and what just happened, that would be devastating. That would be devastating to a 3, but I don't think she's a 3. You just keep seeing 3 though, eh? That's interesting.
That's just in heart. That's it. Yeah, like it would be interesting to see if you can find anything like talking about her like overcoming adversary or kind of like any difficulties or roadblocks or challenges she's had to kind of push through or any kind of language.
I didn't find anything like that. She is very other oriented though. I know 3-wing-2s can be, but like that, but yeah, she doesn't, I don't know, the way she talks about her achievements seems like 9-ish and 7-ish to me, but yeah, it's tough. I don't know why she's hard.
Yeah, well, perhaps like have you gone to like their first Instagram post ever?
Yeah, I did actually scroll. She kind of looks like 6'7", 7'6" face when she's younger, but always kind of. The day my idol was born. Pick with one of the winners. So she's kind of changed her look. I mean, I guess everybody does, but how old is this? Like over 10 years ago.
Yeah, and I'm wondering at what point is she like starting to show off her breakdancing or any kind of like anything like right now this is just like kind of oh I'm hanging out with these people or these are my buds or my family or my kid or
She doesn't look like a core 3 to me, which I know doesn't always work, but I mean, I find like sometimes when you can't type a person, it's because there's some version of 963, but oh, I mean, here she is showing off her special letters. She does have that thing of like, I'm one of the boys, like that kind of thing going on in a lot of and her energy is kind of like that, which I often do put with like 8 influence and sometimes like 7, sometimes 6. Like there's a kind of um
it's it's interesting think about it like if you said if like for example your the initial kind of starting point like is self-pres social and yeah like especially like probably if she was a self-pres social 3 there'll be much more like competency just like especially at this particular like time more
yeah.
competency like Like again, right now she's not showing off any of this is like right like at the current point of time right now in 2024, like we're getting all these breakdancing or dancing kind of things, but we're not getting any kind of like skill kind of related things, at least at this earlier kind of point in time.
Hmm. It is all very peoply though, so that's interesting. Like maybe she's a social self-pres nine. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I definitely don't think she has SX, so I think that we probably agree on that.
I
I
mean,
mean,
we
it's all
also, yeah, we're not getting a sense that of anything that she's like ruining or kind of like destabilizing
yeah,
any aspect of her life. Like it's very,
yeah. This is not
very
very sudden, is
clean.
it? Yeah, it's pretty square. Yeah, so I'll just like my friends, my family, here's my team. Like we like to socialize. Like I'm trying not to mock her because she's getting so much hate right now. I don't want to add to it.
Ooh.
Maybe she is like a 963 or a 693. She doesn't seem 60 to me enough though. Like she doesn't seem zippy. Or like but she does seem like a positive type to me, and she seems assertive. And this is where I sort of like through trial and error was like, is she seven? Unless I think that sometimes nines can be assertive, but
Oh, it'll be in the context of again, I know that you don't follow like scrambling or you don't like to what extent what's your stance now on scrambling of the centers?
um
Because I
so
don't agree with fixed order um in that, but
no, I think people just made that up. Competency types like to competency type. But I do agree that the scrambled centers are it's like, sevens are like doing in the thinking center. Like I agree with like that part of it where it's like or it's like, nines are like feeling and thinking in the gut center. Like I agree with like that part of the scrambled centers. Is that what you mean or
yeah. I'm just checking where you're at with that, yeah. Yeah, because like, if you want to argue core nine, then like a lot of what we're seeing will have to like, especially in the body, it's solely in the kind of like gut, in the kind of doing gut, but
Mhm.
without it's like the two modes of either you're in the head and the heart and like detached from the gut, or you're just in pure gut, but without access to like the head and the heart.
Yeah.
So
Would you, I mean, so it's funny that you're seeing her heart stuff a lot. Um, what are you thinking? Like, what are you seeing?
again, more so like
Like, this kind of stuff to me is assertive, or it's like LARPing is assertive. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like sometimes sixes can get like this, where they're like, I'm the tough one. Like, yo, you can't fuck with me, bro. Like, but they usually have like eight or, well, it has to be eight usually. She doesn't seem reactive though. She couldn't be
hmm.
double reactive. So
Right. She
I don't know
hasn't like we haven't seen anything that is like problematic or kind of again like wait so can you give me context what is she being hated on?
okay, so they hate on her because she was in the Olympics and she like was not great at it, and so people like piled on her like because I think they were like she didn't deserve to be there. It's because she's like white, and then I think I don't know if it's true. They found out that maybe she got in because of her boyfriend or something. Like she got in through like nepotism or connections or something, and then so people are just dogpiling on her like you didn't earn it, and um, I just I think I'm sure she did earn it. I think she just prioritized doing something that seemed like offbeat, like she was trying to leave her stamp and it like didn't land, and now it's like completely ruined her life.
Yeah. And
So that's also where I was like, I could
how
see
is
a
she
9 or 7
responding
doing
to the
that.
criticism?
Sorry.
How's she responding?
So she was positively reframing it at the beginning, where she was like kind of using it to her advantage, and she was like, well, um, let's see. Um, she was trying to do a positive reframe with her response. Like, I don't know if she's deleted posts or if I just saw them elsewhere, but um, I don't know why people are hating on her
That's
so
the
much.
thing. I feel, for example, if you want to go like a hypothetical of like, like again, just throwing out there, like starting from like nine, for example, there's the difference between like nine wing one versus nine wing eight responding to criticism.
Yeah,
Nine wing one, I think nine wing one is more bothered in the sense of rather the more nitpicking again because they feel more pressure on themselves, refinement of form. So it's and they're more sensitive to tone
yeah,
um and other people kind of picking on them, and so like they might nitpick back on like how they're treated or that kind of thing. Nine wing eight with the rejection is more able to kind of like, I say, it makes it more disassociated in the sense of like, this isn't bothering me, or not quite noticing the effect, even like whatever criticism is being directed at them, like it's just kind of like still and being like, oh yeah, you just kind of like drown it out. Versus 911, again, it's like nitpicking, tone police, nitpicking, like this isn't how you should treat me, or this is like something, or something like, again, like that frustration, like finding a way to make their kind of performance or art like relate to this higher ideal. Or like,
that's a great point you made. And she did post something a few hours ago that I haven't played yet. So we can watch this where she, now that she's getting like not like tons of hate, she did respond to it. So we can watch that and see what she's doing here.
Hi everyone, Raygun here. I just want to start by thanking all the people who have supported me. I really appreciate the positivity, and I'm glad I was able to bring some joy into your lives. That's what I hoped. I didn't realize that that would also open the door to so much hate, which has frankly been pretty devastating. While I went out there and I had fun, I did take it very seriously. I worked my butt off preparing for the Olympics, and I gave my all, truly. I'm honored to have been a part of the.
I feel bad for her. I think if she was a core six, she'd be having a meltdown. So I don't think
oh
she's.
yeah, all kind of, yeah, like definitely I can see it's like, what's important is I've done it. I showed up, I did my best, and even if like these people hate me, I still have a lot of fans cheering me on anyways.
Yeah,
So
that is kind of nine-ish, isn't it?
I think like with six, for example, there would be more kind of like more kind of contrasting, or like kind of swinging in the dichotomy sense, like kind of like um because I also think about it as like with six, you could like the opposition versus like the people who are supporting me versus the people who are against me, and kind of like maybe putting a little bit of polarity
Mhm.
between those two things, which
Mm, yeah,
isn't like, I'm not really getting that.
yeah. There's more too. But yeah, I feel like she deals with everything like like a positive type. So it's like, but the more I'm watching her again, I'm like, yeah, I don't. She's not a seven. So I feel like just like it's like it has to be a positive. Yeah, just subtracting. I don't know. Maybe she's even like, I think she's three wing two fixed, but you can really see the two as well. There's. Mm.
Australian Olympic team and to be part of breaking's Olympic debut. What the other athletes have achieved has just been phenomenal. In regards to the allegations and misinformation floating around, I'd like to ask everyone to please refer to the recent statement made by the AOC, as well as the posts on.
It's interesting that she's not addressing it herself, though. She's telling them to refer to the literature. Yeah, that does seem like kind of niney.
Yeah, and more so, like, what is it? Like, a few thoughts, like, what is she gaining, or what is she doing by preferring to allegate it, or to kind of refer, like, not engaging with it herself. So to not have to, is it coming from a sense of like, this is too much of a bother, or like they can represent me better, versus, like, I suppose I almost imagine that, like, you know, with reactivity, even there would be more kind of, again, more kind of unable to ignore. No, it's like unable to ignore anything. Like, even like responding to like allegations, like point by point kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like like, you know, there's I'm not getting the buzzing or the kind of so far.
Yeah, me neither.
The Oz Breaking Instagram page, as well as the WDSF Breaking for Gold page. Bit of a fun fact for you. There are actually no points in breaking. If you want to see how the judges thought I compared to my opponents, you can actually see the comparison percentages across the five.
Maybe she is a 9-wing-1. I mean, she's doing a bit of the Karening here, but again, she's still referring to, like, she doesn't actually tell you, I don't think, like, her actual score.
Five criteria on Olympics.com.
She weirdly reminds me of, like, a toned down Emma Watson. Like, the way that she kind of even looks like her in this video in some weird way.
Results are there. I'm going to be in Europe for a few weeks for some pre-planned downtime, but
that was interesting. I'm going to be in Europe for some pre-planned downtime, which probably was, but that almost seems like an autonomy type thing to be like,
yeah, like
I was going to do it anyways.
Well, or rather, like, oh yeah, I think it's also, I think it is, again, communicating to audience, like, oh yeah, like, I'm not allowing you to affect me. Like, I can still chill out in my holiday or whatever. You aren't, like, if like, for example, she was planning to do that anyways, again, as you said, autonomy, it's like, no, I'm not really, like, I'm still gonna go about life this way. I'm not gonna let any of your criticism, like, really, I think, affect my lifestyle or any of that, I guess.
Yeah, you know what, she does actually, like, looking at her up close, like, she does kind of have a 9-1 sort of face a little bit. And she's kind of like speaking softly but sternly, like there is a kind of teachery, and I mean, I guess she is a teacher, but that's interesting. I just find it fascinating that she comes across as so, like, assertive and confident. I almost wonder if it's been like something she's had to do like a lot of work on, and now maybe she's literally living out some kind of 9 fucking trauma character arc right now of like being seen. And the worst thing that happens for a 9 when they are actually put themselves out there and are seen is to have everybody misunderstand you and like take away your agency and take away like what you did work very hard for as a withdrawn type. So that's kind of fucked up if she is actually a 9 and like this is happening to her. This kind of breaks my heart a little bit, actually. I do think that I do think with the subconscious mind that we can live out these things of our ego pattern. You know what I mean? Where it's like a 7 can
Mhm.
become fucking literally trapped, sort of by life. Or it's like the 9 can be seen and then like shamed for it, you know? Because even though 3s are the shame type, it's like I think still all types feel the shame, but I think 9s feel a lot of shame too, actually. 9-ring ones actually. Kind of rambling. Do you have thoughts on that?
Mm.
Do you, is that, I don't know, that's a weird take maybe, but something to factor into the typing a little bit.
I'd really like to ask the press to please stop harassing my.
She couldn't be a
Okay.
one-wing line.
Okay,
No.
yeah, actually, yeah, definitely like, oh, please, like, this is not an assertive kind of response. Asking, like, I'm placating, plat. I'm gonna ask you to stop, you know? It's like,
Huh.
let's make sure that none of this, it doesn't have to be this way. We can go back to a place in time where none of this was really barraging me in the first place. Something like that.
Yeah, okay, I'm leaning more and more to 9-1 space. Is that where you are at too?
Um, I'm thinking more so again, like I'm kind of crossing out, free call, since like it's not an assertive, like kind of like not really doubling down on uh because I'm trying to think of a way in which, like, for example, a free with, let's say, a 6-9 fixes, or 3-7-9 would like respond to criticism. Um,
Well,
where there's
like I said, usually when we get stuck, it's like fucking some kind of 3-6-9 iteration. And then it's like you just kind of zero in on the wings or something. It's like, I don't like,
yeah,
could she be a
so
9-wing
yeah,
1-6?
she could be like a 9-1. Yeah, so interesting. Also, again, this sense of welcoming. Hold on, like, is she done with this? Yeah.
Oh, do you want
Okay.
me to keep playing?
Yeah, because I do have a point afterwards.
Okay.
My family, my friends, the Australian breaking community, and the broader street dance community. Everyone has been through a lot as a result of this, so I ask you to please respect their privacy. I'll be happy to answer more questions on my return to Australia. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. All right. So get out. I think again, just go to the quote. The quote, just right. Don't be afraid. Um, Again, there is a lot of like inclusive. Well, not that one. No,
Oh, sorry, I'm just clicking on pictures while you're talking, just looking at her. I was so off the mark with her type. That's so crazy.
So just go to the third.
The third photo here?
The third on the overall Instagram. Yeah. So again, it's this whole kind of like inclusiveness, because like I'm imagining I'm coming from a place where, in a sense, she's trying to make something like, again, her whole kind of framing of what was it, representing whatever was about gender earlier. And it's this overall kind of like, you can do it too, or it's okay to like go out there, be different, represent yourself. This kind of like, we can like, we're all in this together. Um,
Yeah.
you can like, if you, again, I wish I kind of see a little bit in, I imagine like a free 9 kind of space. There's something in that, like, uh, anyone can do it. Uh,
Yeah.
anyone can be someone like me.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And she's really changed her style too. Like again, I know people do that, but it's like so it's kind of dramatic actually. So it's like maybe
Yeah.
the kind of assertive boy tomboy thing is like not even really that much coming from her personality. I don't know. Might be like she kind of took on the look of the breakdance team and the attitudes of the breakdance team. This is
Mm.
why it's fucking hard to type triple attachment sometimes because it's like, is this their personality type, like an Enneagram sense, or is this like kind of identity that they've sort of pulled in or have like created?
Mm. Yeah, so aside from like going back to the criticism, aside from like people like let's say dogging on her skills or her boyfriend got a position, has anyone like commented on her personality or kind of like her energy or uh
They're just mocking her talent, like her
okay.
choreography, like her.
Right. So it's interesting because that means there's nothing about like her personality that's really like if they're focusing specifically on that, again, there's nothing about like a nature of personality that is like aggravating. Um, it's like that's the part that is like not it's not there's nothing to really attack in that particular angle. So they
Yeah,
have to focus. The focus is just on like yeah,
that's a good point. That probably is points for her being six in the head center too.
maybe.
Damn.
Because I guess like like sometimes the if you think of like let's say a 973, sometimes there is a little bit of like the frustration head. You can say something that's a little bit uh kind of flippantly controversial in a way that's like and I think like I'm trying to think of like head fixes and with like nine like it's almost like nine feels like they're more comfortable taking up more space whenever they're indulging a little more of their head fix kind of activity. So you get like you have like think of like 9-5 versus 9-7 and think of like you've got like doubling down on that withdrawn path of kind of like you get like a lot of like 9-5s. You get people easily type them as like fives or the kind of, that gets mistaken. And then
Hmm.
similarly with 9-7, like on an initial kind of when you first see it, like people can get like the seven because like the nine is allowing them to indulge within their heads as a way of like this is a way in which I can take up space um through that kind of lens
Fuck, that's so
in the
good.
fiction, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good. That makes sense.
So for me at least, that would explain like the 9-3 stem with her. It's like I'm taking up space whilst kind of like showing off how hard I've worked and like what I've done for the community and how and kind of like the gaze is kind of like being reflected um it's essentially holding being held in high esteem but not in any way that is like non-threatening or alienating her from anyone else. And there's so much. There is just a lot of focus in how much other people like the way in which other people are behind. I guess like if I think about it that way, maybe she is like a 936. Again,
She
there's so
might
much
be.
bringing up the community and all that. Um,
Yeah, I think she might be. Damn, that sucks. I feel really bad. I feel worse for her now. When I thought she was maybe a seven, I was like, whatever. But now that I know that she might be like a 936, it's like, oh, that's probably going to be devastating for her that this
mhm.
happened. Man, people are so mean to like random famous people on the internet. I guess I kind of am too when I do these videos. Whatever.
Well, I guess from you, it's like okay, there's strangers, and then there's random strangers, and they
It
kind
was
of
like
hit your
picking
radar.
apart a YouTube video. You know what? It makes sense because she was doing 60 faces. Like I noticed that she was doing six wing 70 faces. So I was like, damn, this is why 963s are so hard to fucking type. Because they do blend into the things like their wings and stuff. It's like
Mhm. Okay. So like tentatively like 9-wing 1, 3-wing 2, 6-wing 7.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it makes sense to me that she would be 3 second because she does have something kind of cocky about her, but I don't even think it's really cocky.
Okay, interesting. That would make a 1-2-7 overlay. And again, like if you think of like you're getting like she's a teacher. So
Oh, right, yeah.
um
Yeah, we don't want to use an EU
there is that, I
term.
guess.
Yeah, cool teacher. That's whatever theirs. But yeah, that makes sense actually, because she does have the cool teacher thing. Didn't come up with that. Get type by me instead, though. I don't know, whatever. But you know what? I also noticed 9-wing 163s are still kind of positive. Like they have a brightness to them. You know what I mean? Like they don't seem like it's like sometimes when people have six, it makes them more negative. But I don't really see that as much with 9-wing 163s. And actually, that makes sense too because she had something kind of weirdly Emma Watson and Karen-y about her when she was doing her little
Right.
video there.
Okay. Another kind of thing I'm trying to think of, like trying to justify if we're trying to justify typing that, okay, can we see like the 3-6 stem versus the 3-7 stem? And
I mean, I
I'm getting
will.
like I'm getting a little bit more of that even kind of playing field. Again, like with double assertive, there's gonna be a little more of like showing off in a way that like to other people it's going to be a little more antagonizing or I like again I know that like you 9 if 9 core might cover that up, but again it's this whole kind of like inclusivity. Like I'm just trying to imagine them kind of like put them in any kind of environment and like how much trouble or how much mess or how much like chaos like again it's like even let's say her most kind of chaotic aspects, is it chaotic in a way that is going to be kind of like causing some kind of controversy in any kind of environment she's in?
I really like
Like
that frame.
any
Yeah.
kind of ideas that like seem like really like outlandish in a way that's like people look at it going, ah, well, why did you say that kind of thing
Honestly, I
with
was
like a
like, maybe
9-7
she's one
kind of
of the
stem.
boring. Maybe she was one of the boring sevens. I was like, maybe she's just one of the boring sevens. I mean, they do exist.
So no, like I imagine like if she was a 7, there'll be more kind of like making fun of mocking like any kind of criticism
Yeah.
that's coming away, or kind of like again leaning more into like or turning or even thinking it's a bit funny, it's fun, or it's like oh, loving the controversy. It's like, oh yeah, like you people think, oh yeah, I'm getting more of the attention, that kind of like even like imagine like with a 739, like that's still pretty like um that's kind of real baseline just for that trifix with 7 core.
Yeah, I agree. That's a really good point. Like, I feel like if people try to like kind of cancel me, like with how they've done her, I would do like a choreographed dance to like I'm bad or like who's bad or something. I don't know. And, like, maybe not, but that's yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so again, I
And
guess
she
another
and she didn't stand out to me archetypally, like visually. I kept like kind of going around in circles, and I do like bringing in visual typing just for my own self to like hone my visual typing skills. And there was this guy I did watch part of the Olympics because I was at somebody's cottage, and the shot put came on. I don't care about the Olympics, but I could tell one guy was just from looking at him that he was either a 9-wing 8-7-3 or like a 7-wing 6-9-3. Like just from looking at him and the way he acted, I was like, oh, he's a 3-7-9 trifix archetype. Um, and I feel like sometimes when it's like you can't figure out what's going on somewhere, it's like I don't know. That's just what happens when I do these celebrity ones sometimes, and then they take forever, and it's like, what am I seeing? What is this? I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm actually like for me at least, I'm actually like generally quite surprised in the variety of people you are interested in typing. Like to me, it's a whole. It's
100 people at least.
yeah. Like to me, it is surprising. Like at least for me, it's like I'm barely. I get like I don't even like celebrity typing that much. I always prefer fictional character typing, anyways. Because it's like I can't be interested in like this huge kind of range of kind of different people that like stick out. And again, they're coming from all sorts of different like you got you like again you got like conjoined twins and you have like different filmmakers. Again, it's just this huge, yeah.
Well, it's like well, I mean, yeah, and I have like a list of, but then I have all these people that I'm like, I really want to type them, but I'm still circling the drain on their type, that are like very weird, but I'm not going to give those names out on here. But it's also like every time I do it is like I'm feeding like the kind of network that I'm creating, the visual network. So like this typing is now gonna go in like the folder of like 91136, like 31277. Like it's like I really want to be able to just walk into a room and know everybody's entire fucking typing. Like that's where I want to get with this because I feel like it's like fuck AI, you know what I mean? It's like I don't want to be a supercomputer, but it's like I want to be able to see through everything. Like I want to see the entire Sims matrix of all of our characters, and like I feel like and also just understand it. Like even just talking about like her what she's going through is so fascinating because it's like looking at how people die or like how people like when they come into tragedy, it often reflects their personality type. Like that's the crazy fucking thing about it. Like when we bring in like the subconscious mind and everything. So it's like she literally is living a 9-wing-136 horror movie right now.
Yes.
Just fucking crazy. Like this might make this she might never dance again because of this. This is like public humiliation. Yeah,
And of course, you can always update the typing later if like a year passes and like if there's any like significant shifts to a lifestyle or any of that. Yeah.
yeah. Like, well, I have to make some updates to a bunch of typings already on the thing. There is, well, I wanted to also type Tommy Wiseau, but there was this other person, this marketing influencer. I want to talk about her type, unless I just do it separately. But she went through a 369 arc publicly that I thought was really fascinating. So I don't know. I mean, I think we live in a simulation. So to me, this is all just like little clues to like seeing every like I don't know. It's like if you could sound like a crazy person, but it's like once you see stuff, it's like, and you like lean in and you're like, I'm not going to turn away from this. Like, I want to fucking see it all. I want to, like, I'm just going to allow my ego to fall to pieces. Like, even with her talking about like originality, creativity, it's like, oh, I just realized it's like, I thought, oh, maybe that's some Seven stuff. But no, I think that was like her being like, I'm original, right? Like, I have my own moves. Like, and I think that's more nine. Like, even though nines are super creative and original, it's like, I think that there's like a fear maybe, especially maybe that trifix. So anyways, I've kind of gone off the plot there.
Wonder again, I'm thinking about in terms of like again the differences between like again creativity, like if we're going by 7 creativity with like thinking gut in that kind of realm where like I tend to imagine it again like with 7 kind of creativity, it's not allowing any kind of like setbacks, like even if the process of learning anything new is like excruciating and all that, it's again it's like well what's on the other side of all that. Like think of how awesome, how badass I'll be like after like clearing through everything. I'm not going to let this defeat me, and even let's just say I utterly suck at this, oh, I found something else to kind of funnel that all in, versus like the 9 kind of I'm just trying to think, 9 kind of creativity is more so like drawing upon anything or allowing themselves to be open to anything and taking that all in.
Yeah.
And like anything can kind of almost inspire them. in that sense, but it's not in the, but it doesn't have the same kind of rush it has with seven. Like sevens, it feels like they're rushing to get to the other side of this. Whereas with nine, they're kind of taking everything in, and because of that, they're able to synthesize everything together. There isn't, yeah, there isn't the same kind of like desperation.
It is
Yeah.
desperation. I've tried explaining this too to people who type as seven or think they're sevens that aren't, where it's like, I don't think you understand, like, it's like there's like a level of panic involved in being a core seven. Like there's this sort of, especially seven wing six, there's this like almost like underlying hysteria that's like just kind of like always under the surface of like, I gotta be
Yeah,
doing
like
something, gotta be making something, gotta be creating, gotta be learning, gotta be like sparkling. It's like, or else like, it's the personality thing, or else I don't exist. So, um, anyways.
yes. I'm actually interested. Like, I think in the past you were like, I'm looking at like films or TV stuff you brought up in the past. And I know that again, you are interested in your. I have watched both of your 3 Wing 4 and 9 Wing 8 movie analysis videos. I quite enjoyed them with
Oh, thanks.
I know it, and I had brought up previously I had watched like Whiplash, and I know that you have a lot of like that you said it was one of your favorite movies, and especially about like the tortured artists, what are you willing to sacrifice kind of
Yeah.
along the way. I'm wondering if you're going to eventually get to some kind of like Enneagram movie analysis on that.
Yeah, I might. Like, do you want to do one together? Do you want to like talk about that?
Um, I'm not sure. Mainly for me, it's like I'm doing my whole thing. It's like, oh, I mean, sure. I mean, I could offer like a little bit of thoughts and commentary here there. I have to do a rewatch, but like, yeah, like because like I still haven't like fully landed like because I know Andrew, I know that he is probably another Bermuda, three
I
six
think he's like a three
nine.
six nine, maybe.
Yeah, I
It's
think I
like,
think he might be like a 3 Wing 4 with 6 and 9 because I'm kind of seeing like again the desperation like every like self-pres social. It's like I want to be one of the greats, and like he's saying it at the dinner table in front of like everyone. And then it's like he refuses. It's like nope, no one will take my spotlight away. It's like I don't care. Interestingly, he's like he doesn't care in the moment. It's like oh, I'm all bloodied up. I'm all bloodied up. It's like I'm ruining the kind of orchestra for everyone else. Like, no, this is my time to shine. And the kind of attachment, kind of like, oh, I'm going to show, what, no, is it Fletcher?
yeah.
Fletcher. I'm going to like Fletcher thinks like I think what was the whole thing? It's like Fletcher is like, oh, it's a shame that they took whatever his name is, Charlie, whatever away because it's like he threw the symbol and it's like oh it's like are you going to let that stop you from becoming the person I want to be. And finally I think I felt like there was that kind of breakup scene he did with like his date or girlfriend or whatever at
Oh,
the
God,
time,
love
and it
that.
was like he was like listing, he was like very rashly kind of like listing, all right, these are the reasons, this is going to get in the way of my goal, and kind of like this is in the long run, like I'm going to prioritize getting to where I want, and this is the ultimate conclusion. Like, yeah. So all of that, I'm thinking it's an interesting kind of tale of like a 3 Wing 4, like how they try and embody their image. Because interesting, it's again, it's kind of like with self-pres social, it's less kind of like flashy. It's more on like the skill set or the kind of like the capabilities in terms of like what can I produce physically, or my specific craft that I fixated on.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think he's a self-pro-social 3 and 4 6 9, and like, it's funny because I've brought this movie up to people that I think are actually like that try, or like in that general try range, like whatever order. They don't really like that movie, and it's so funny to me. It's like I've had people tell me they think it's like a horror movie almost, and I'm like, to me it's so like magnificent. It's like this person just decide, like, I think also as like seven, I have like envy. It's like the focus that this person had. It's like he decided I'm going to, this one fucking thing is going to mean everything and I'm just going to go all in. Like, I don't care what it costs. Like, there's something that just is so, I don't know, weirdly arousing about that. I think maybe it's because I lack that like tenacity. But it's like, I guess it is kind of like an assertive arc too, and then it's like your own asserting like fucks you over. I mean, he has that moment in the end, that moment of glory, but I think that's also the assertive type thing. It's like then you get the thing, and then it's maybe it's 3 and 7, but then it's over, and it's like, well, now what? You did it. Now
Yes.
what? Now who is he? Now what?
Yeah,
And
like what,
also,
like,
I love the
yeah, I think.
dynamic with the dad, like polarizing.
Yes, yes. Like at the very end, like the dad is seeing like, oh, that's my son on stage, but like, is this truly better, healthy for him in the long run? Like, look at like he's put in how much, especially since like the dad is like, I think like Andrew is not impressive. His dad is like oh, this is like mediocre high school teacher dad. He
Yeah.
hasn't really done anything. He's just like, weekends. He's just like, watching these movies and having this mediocre kind of life, and it's kind of
Mm.
like, I think, especially I think it feels like it's almost like he felt like his dad didn't like pose any kind of high expectations upon him, so and especially with like his family gathering, it's like, oh, am I just going to be like mediocre, like talking about mediocre with the rest of my relatives or whatever? And so he really needs to stand out and kind of go above and beyond that. And then his dad in that moment at the end is really seeing that, like, wow, I didn't know my son was actually capable of all this, or really didn't expect it to go to this far, this extent.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, you can even get into the object relationsness of it too if you want, but I think I've observed, at least anecdotally, I think there's a kind of almost eatable thing with three wing fours, like whether it's the father or the mother, but where it's almost like destroying them on some level or outdoing them on some level. Like I've just sort of,
Mm.
I don't think that holds for every three wing four, but I think there's, and maybe even just three in general, perhaps, I'm not sure, but there's this sort of, um, I think because also attachment image, it's like you almost need to destroy them, maybe to like fully reach your peak. Like I don't mean like they have to die, but it's like to fully feel like that assertive achievement, like glory of like I am the best,
Right.
you know?
Right. I think it's also kind of like, again, I'm just trying to think of it in terms of like the assertive kind of influence of, I made it this far, again, because of like, the assertive assumption you have to push onto the world. And like with the heart kind of like separation, with like, they're kind of like not letting their hearts touch. It's like that kind of nurturing. It's kind of like that wound is coming from like, uh, I made it here on my own kind of thing. Like, I was the one who had to push myself and put all the effort. Um, I was the one who did all the like the adaptation kind of shifts and changes in order to become this. It's,
Yeah.
can you finally really see me now after all I have done, all the sacrifices I put in? And that's where the nurturance, that nurturing kind of wound, like, can I finally feel nurtured by the gaze that's kind of being received or reflected back?
Yeah.
One thing, right? Yeah. So one
So
thing,
his dad looked at him in horror
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
despair. Like,
Or
what's your
rather, I think it's
for her
interesting,
son?
like comparing, like, I guess it's kind of a huge contrast with, I keep feeling Terrence. Like, as a, like, let's just say making him the daddy, we're making him like a parental kind of figure where Terrence is the one actually imposing the high expectations, these huge standards. And in contrast to the dad, it's like not expecting that much from him.
Yeah.
And it's a sense he wants to. I have read interpretations at the end where, again, it's subjective. Where like the moment at the end where he takes over the initial kind of like previously he was kind of going by like Terrence's kind of rhythm, but then it's like, no, this is my performance here right now. You aren't the boss of me, Terrence, anymore. Like, this is my show. And and this is even knowing that everything Terrence has done to sabotage his performance beforehand.
Yeah.
And it's like, is he going to crumble? Is he going to absolutely crumble for that? Or is he going to like turn that into his victory?
Yeah. Yeah, I felt it's so high stakes. Like I feel like the way it was written too, because usually I'm not like super hot for non-genre films, but the way it was written almost was written like a genre film because it feels like life or death when you're watching it. It's like he's gonna die. Like if he doesn't, like it's like it feel like he might as well die. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yes.
almost like this fight for his life or something. Like I feel, anyways, we should like actually do a video on this instead of
Oh. Actually, wait, why am I calling him Terrence? Fletcher. They keep calling him
Yeah.
Fletcher.
What's
Like,
his
it's like good old Terry. Good old Terry here, you know? I actually don't have a full landing on like Fletcher's typing yet.
He
Even
seems
though I know
like a one. Well, he's got one somewhere, I think. Or would it be eight? No, I think probably
because
one.
that's the thing I'm trying to figure out, because I see like at least at the very least I do feel that's the thing I'm trying to think of it. Like I understand like there is the one angle in terms of like the body discomfort, because like he hates, like he's a conductor. He hates it whenever like it's the wrong sound. The wrong sound is, it's like horrible to him. It's like he can't tolerate it. Like his environment is like excruciating to him, and he needs to kind of like set it back to like the perfect sound. But I'm struggling to find a super ego kind of component, or rather, I'm struggling with finding that because there is, I mean, obviously, like, you know, the difference between like, you know, 1 and 8 as hexad gut types, like obviously they're going to be like very kind of like firm. But with 1, it's very much like there is some kind of not necessarily ethical component. I don't want to say that because again, it's coming from, it's a body standard. It's not
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's his standards. It's not, I think that's is kind of what separates, I guess, like the super ego stuff is like is I think one is more about like standards or
the
like
correct way to live, the
ethics. Yeah.
correct, this is the right state of being, the way in which I think correct action.
Yeah.
And
So
again, I'm just trying to think, because of like he can't have, and I'm kind of going, well, it doesn't feel right for me, like if he is like, let's just say hypothetically 1, like I don't know, just I'm just like whatever, throwing thoughts out there. I find it hard to reconcile him having an additional super ego fix.
probably be 7 or 5, maybe 5.
Yeah, because I'm not seeing like this 1/6 stem
No, no.
of like, you know, no wonder actually interesting.
There is kind of a 70 thing too.
Just
Like
trying to imagine like a 1/3/7. Like
yeah.
again, that trifix in general. Again, just trying to think of if we can think of like a 1/7 frustration of like, you could be so much. This could be so much better. Like again, he's saying it's almost I think his one thing saying it's like such a damn shame that, you know, the world couldn't see his name Charlie Parker. The world couldn't see another Charlie Parker. It's like everyone doesn't have the guts. I saw a lot of Free, mainly like he's very competitive. It's very much like I'm responsible for the best band. It's like he gets really enraged like every time like someone's making a mistake, because it's like, or it's a reflection on him as a conductor, his own quality. But it is so interesting that like again, he is so proud of seeing like Andrew as that Charlie Parker at the very end. It's like, even though, yes, it's like this guy has kind of taken over his entire show, he is so proud that he has the potential for this, finding this Charlie Parker.
But probably
Kind of
points for being a 7 fix then. Where it's like
right, yeah, it's like
chaos
caused this
until
huge
huge
kind of disturbance it's like I have broke reality, kind of breaking the reality of, again, if we kind of take frustration orientation, like the way in which other people are kind of like the other conductors or whatever, they're kind of doing their own band. They aren't pushing the way I am because I can see all this potential. I can see all this potential, and like it could be amazing. I just need to get you there, kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
And I can see
Like
that
that.
with, again, like a free wing. Like, again, there is a little bit of that, like in the heart, like a little bit of that tiny rejection in the free wing too, like kind of like not seeing this kind of like, again, life coach thing of like, I am offering, I'm the one who is like shining a little bit of light upon you. You are my creation that's coming from me, kind of that. So it's interesting to kind of try and reconcile.
And he is the Danny. He's the music Danny. Well, I guess we just talked about Whiplash.
Yes,
Um,
this is the universe has sent me to hijack your call in this. You
the
don't mind.
universe called
No.
Calvin.
And I do wonder, have you watched Black Swan?
Oh yeah, that's also one of my favorite movies. That's a very
Yeah,
911.
because I type Nina as a 9-wing 1, but with a secondary free, like a strong secondary free for, and I can see like there are like certain parallels between the
No,
two
no, no, we
movies.
don't talk about this one, Calvin, because I want to do
Yeah.
a video on it. But
Yeah,
like,
so
if you want to join
that
me
might
for
be
it, you
interesting
can.
to
But
explore.
let's here. I want to finish because I did put Tommy Wiseau in the title, so I want to type Tommy
Oh,
Wiseau.
you can edit. Oh, you can
No, it's
like
live.
edit
This is
it.
live stream. This is
Oh,
live.
okay. Okay, never mind. Okay.
No, that's why I'm doing these because I'm sick of it. I don't want to edit anymore. I just feel like it just makes me not. I have so many unedited typing videos, and I'm just too lazy. I just don't feel called to do them right now.
Oh, yep. No, sorry. I need one more and one more.
Oh, Calvin.
Yes. I know that you have watched what's it called? Russian Doll, or at least season 1
Yeah,
of
I love
Russian Doll.
her show. Yeah.
And I knew at one point you mentioned the server. It's like this great kind of analogy of like the seven sabotage cycle. And kind of like running, like not being in touch with like all this kind of trauma and kind of like moving past it, and like, like kind of like seeking out all these kind of like different activities to ultimately like run away or kind of like move past it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I,
like
I related a lot to that. I felt like it was touching onto something that like I personally have experienced. Like it was that, yeah, I kind of almost hate that show because it is like that, where I envy it. And I hate that it exists, but I also think it's so fucking good. But I don't know. I think people often type her as like, I don't know, 738 or 739 or something. I think she's 7-wing 6, like 8-4 or something, like
maybe
SPSX or
like
something. I
she's
think she's
very like, again, it is like it is very kind of like unbothered, or kind of like this unkempt, kind of like casually kind of dismissing everyone around them in a way that's like self-interest. Again, it was 7, but it's I could see, I'm curious, wondering a case like exploring again, like 7, like you look at it through 7-4 stem and then 4-8 stem, and that in itself is interesting because it might be a similar, not too far off from your own kind of typing, and you can
yeah.
explore that, I
Yeah,
guess.
and she's like a little gremlin, like a little smoky gremlin, you know. It's like
Which is, yes.
yeah, I really like Natasha Lyonne as an actress too. Okay. Do you know who Tommy Wiseau is? Have you seen The Room?
No.
Oh, it's like very okay, so he's kind of like a cult figure. He's like he made this film called The Room. It's like really, really bad, but it's so bad that it's good. Um, and James Franco made what is it called? The Disaster Artist. You might like that movie. And it's about the making of The Room. So this is Tommy Wiseau. He's but look at his Instagram. This is so crazy. Like, what the fuck is this shit? And he I think he rents out theaters to play his own it's like his one movie that he just plays over and over and over again. It's like his greatest hit, his only hit. I think maybe he's made other stuff, but yeah. Anyways, this is his whole fucking Instagram. I mean, he looks to me like a SPSX 918 or something. Like this is but I don't know if that's for sure what he is. He's also from like another country and his English is like, I don't know, stilted, so it's a little bit hard sometimes I think to type people when they're not like totally, you know, fluent and in flow, but visually he kind of has a 9-8-3-4 sort of, I don't know, thing going on. Yeah, and James Franco played him. I don't know what James Franco is. I assume he's like some kind of 379 or I don't know if you like him. He's like obviously a douchebag, so probably you don't. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to think, what should I play first here? Yeah, once again, I don't really prepare these, so oh, fuck.
Hey, I sort of an idea, and I say, you know what? I have to write a script about it. So that's what I did. And then I say, you know what? That's not enough. So what I decided to do, I decided to make a movie. So I got the sort of story outline, a plan, and I got the crew together, and this is the finished product. And I'm happy to say that actually I completed.
Why did you call it The Room?
Because the title has a special meaning to me. And at the time, I thought about a special place, a private place, a place where you can be safe. And it's not a room, but it's the room. I thought and I think that a lot of people will relate to it. So the room is a place where you can go, you can have a good time, you have a bedtime, and a safe place.
I mean, this might be the real 973. I mean,
yeah, I think again, it's good time, it's safe place. It's like, is this a chillax zone?
Yeah, totally chillax zone. Where we do drugs, we get into arguments, and we have sex.
What do you think about the negative reviews and opinions about The Room?
I think that everybody is entitled to their own opinion. However, if a person, he or she, assumes something and it's not true, that's wrong. Everything that you see and experience viewing The Room was done meticulously with meticulous planning.
Oh, interesting. Like, this is not the same thing as what Rachel was talking about, but she also was like, I was preparing, I prepared, like, I put in the time, and he's kind of doing the same thing. I wonder if this is an SP9. Maybe it's sort of like almost like a wounding thing of like, I prepared, I actualized, like, how dare you?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of it as a contrast because, like, for example, like, let's just say again, I'm getting like in a hard space a 3-4 area, that area of like, again, like a lot of filmmakers or directors, they do tend to like, again, it's less about, you know, giving gaze and more about like refining in my little corner behind the scenes, and like I'm putting in, or this is my kind of vision. And I think it's like, again, with filmmakers, it's like they tend, like with visions, when you have a specific vision, it kind of lacks the free wing to kind of like, I'm offering this to you, specifically to you, versus like, this is what I've kind of like curated or crafted in my kind of corner. It's kind of sticking towards that versus, again, like as a kind of contrast. Like with Freewing 2, it's like I am giving, this is a role that other people want me, a role that is that a position that like has something to give to other people. Like that's why we get like Freewing 2, like politician also. It's a role that the people need. Versus again, it's like, who needs a filmmaker? Well, as a kind of like as a kind of contrast, it's more, it feels more of a niche. Like it's not, that doesn't mean it's like less important in the overall run of things, But again, like having your kind of specific vision, you're enacting upon reality. That would be a free, like imagine them also free of like frustration kind of influence. If we're talking purely just on like heart kind of, the heart center kind of space.
Yeah, I agree. 314. And he always has like his specific aesthetic, like cool guy with the sunglasses and the tux, or like the whatever it's called, the
Okay.
black.
I'm to
I mean,
imitate.
I have noticed just anecdotally a lot of withdrawn types where some like famous withdrawn types where
Yes, Daddy, you've converted me.
oh
And I compare to you. No, I
I don't
can't.
think you want to be like Tommy Wiseau.
And with a lot of preparation. For example, playing football was not an accident. And the entire project was not an accident. We're preparing a lot scene. Preparation for the football scene was very challenging because we use 2 cameras plus one of the actresses falling down in the scene. But we conquer our challenge.
We conquer our
Why are
challenge.
the characters playing football in tuxedos, and why just 3 feet apart?
I think people should realize that playing football without any gear and a special big, huge field, it's fun. So you can play football in tuxedos, you can play football 3 feet apart, and the idea is to have fun. So I would recommend to anyone to try it.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, have fun. Who cares? Like, you're missing out on something. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And this is just so seven in the sense of like, it's like, what are the rules? Like, it's football. Football's whatever I decide football is. Like, we're gonna play in tuxedos 3 feet apart. I think this is too like a 7 fix, maybe 7-9 thing of like winging it. He probably did wing a lot of this and he's lying. Or like he prepared it, but then he winged it. You know what I mean? Or he like didn't have, I don't know. Maybe as an SP Dom, if that's what he is, he did plan and prepare it, but I don't know.
What do you think you have accomplished?
I finished what I started, and I'm very happy that I have a lot.
Oh, that's interesting. Like I finished what I started. That's huge for 9s and 7s, I think.
Yeah, so it's like we've started. It's almost like I had this vision for a while. Especially it felt like it worked. I prepared, I've put so much work and effort into it. I've had this idea for a very long time.
Yeah. I think and maybe I mean I don't think 5s would consider it an accomplishment though, but I think like the types that maybe yeah. I think for 9s it's a different reason than 7s, but I think he has both, so he has like both working against him. And then his 3 heart wanting the accolades of like wanting his achievement to be seen. Like everyone in the world is gonna see my achievement. I'm gonna make sure I go to every
Yes.
fucking theater.
Yeah, okay, interesting. Yeah, again, interesting. Like okay, yeah, this instant.
Or what?
No, just like yeah, I'm just like connecting more things of like this is why he's making these Instagram choices. Yeah.
I mean, he kind of looks like some kind of SPSX like villain from like an 80s movie or something, like a 90s action movie.
Yeah, like hold on, okay, no, never mind. The zoom up, just the zoom up on his eyes, like
Yeah,
the other.
that's like the necromancer. The necromancer. Ugh, I just did a 7 thing.
Lot fans and friends who like to see the room over and over again. And I'm happy because I prepare all this stuff and I want people to have good time, interact between the screen. This is new entertainment. When you see the room, you can yell, you can scream, you can express yourself, and that's the idea. And I always say, you can laugh, you can cry, you can express yourself, but please don't hurt each other.
Which did you like best?
Oh, please don't hurt each other. Why would they hurt each other? Are you thinking anything differently about his type besides like a 973 orientation?
No, so far there isn't anything in particular that's pulling me away from it yet.
This is making me feel embarrassed that I thought that the other chick was like a 7 or 7 fix. She clearly wasn't. This is so like way more obvious. Anyway.
Being an actor or director, and why?
I think both roles I like very much. However, I would say that being a director is much harder because you have to have a vision from the beginning of a project to the end of a project. Otherwise, you don't have a project. So you have to think. Plus, you have a lot of responsibility towards the crew, people who you work with.
It's weird. It's almost like dubbed or something. I feel like I dubbed in things after, but I guess he's talking about 7-ish shit of just like the visionary aspect.
Being an actor, I like very much too. Actually, I prefer to be an actor because I can be in different situation. I can experience my feelings, emotion, be happy, express myself, and that's what I like.
Yeah, more like 9 and 3, I think. But then with a 7, and be happy. Express myself. I want to be the emotions. This is kind of yeah, I don't know. I've never typed James Franco. I assume he's like a 379 or a 793. Probably 3.
Welcome. First of all, congratulations. James Franco made a movie about your movie. That's got to be exciting for you.
It is.
You are, what, 36, 37 years old?
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is, it doesn't matter.
Whatever it is, doesn't like interesting. Wait, stop.
It is not 37.
Yeah, no, more so again, I know, like this is definitely like not even like it doesn't maybe not even correcting or not even doesn't care about like getting it right or
Oh, well, I think he wants to be seen as younger. Also, like he won't give his age. It's like he has this whole like enigma, the enigma of Tommy Wiseau. It's like it's this whole thing that he does, this mystery, and I think that was points from being a 9-wing 8, with like social last because they're. I think that sometimes this is where 9s think they're 4s, where it's like I'm mysterious. Like it's like you're not doing mystery in the same way though. It's just nebulous. You can't find the answer because there is no answer. Especially 9-wing 8s.
Yeah, maybe because like I guess 9-wing 1 tends to like just be a little more specific with frustration. Less able to like again 9-wing 1 kind of utopia, like the kind of pointiness of this is how like even this is how I want to be received, or this is the right way to be received.
I find like 9-wing 1s are just more alert too.
Yes.
And kind of fragile sometimes. And I think that's where I got thrown with the last lady, where I was like, she must be 9-wing 8. But then yeah, watching that like confession or whatever it was, that whatever, you're hurting me, my family or something, I was like, kind of Karen coded. There's some frustration. There's a correcting in there. But he seems like maybe potentially. I mean, I don't think he's a 7 core. I think this is like 9-wing 8 right here. Social last 9-wing 8. This is sort of like the peak expression or something of what this can be. I like that all three people that have been typed here are potentially 3 are 9s because they do come in all different shapes and sizes. That's for sure. Or are you seeing are you seeing like 3 or 7?
I'll have to watch more.
Oh, tell me.
Yeah, I'm originally from Europe, but I'm right now American, like everybody else. Long story short, I used to grow up in New Orleans, Louisiana. So you know, people ask me where you come from, right?
Mhm.
So what do you want to do? Which country I pick? Well, you know, I pick New Orleans.
I see. What?
Wait, this is new. This is new.
This is big.
Ugh, shut up. I hate him. But the fact that he's just making up where he's from, I feel like nines do that. I mean, threes do it too, but nines admit that they're doing it.
Tommy,
this
Yeah.
is new.
what street did you live on in New Orleans?
Chalmette.
Okay, there you go. We'll check.
Chalmette actually is a city as well.
Oh, it's a city and a street?
Yes, you can say
All in one little area?
Tommy, all this time I thought this was New Orleans
Clemmer,
accent.
actually, Clemmer Street.
Okay, so we know you're from Europe. We
Yeah,
know
long
that
time
you
ago.
lived in New Orleans. You're an
Yeah.
American now. You've
Yes.
come to this country.
Yes.
May
I thought you were all American guy.
I
He
am
is-
now.
Tommy,
What was happening? Look at the cover. Can you really trust anyone? This ubiquitous like head that's just floating, just like 90s MS DOS paint, whatever art.
to enjoy the movie.
No.
But it helps, definitely.
For
I think
sure.
it's a fun movie to see. And you know, a lot of movies are bad, but they're not fun.
Right.
Your movie is fun.
Absolutely. I always say you can laugh, you can cry, you can express yourself, but please don't hurt
Just don't hurt yourself.
Do you like
Interesting.
James' imitation of you?
I love it. Yeah,
You do.
he's a great accent. You know, my accent always change. You know, so you have to keep going. You know.
Yeah.
Now, Tommy, you told me the other day that you liked my movie,
Your movie?
Yeah, yeah.
Which one?
The Disaster Artist.
Oh, okay. I thought you were Sunny.
He likes this movie Sunny I did where
Oh, I
Nick
see.
Cage directed. I played a gigolo in New Orleans.
So you were
Yeah.
confused. Oh, well, sure. You
I'm
got
not
that.
confused at all. I like the movie. Sunny.
You like that movie?
Yeah. But Disaster Artist, that's definitely, you know, I saw it 3 times. I think everyone in America should see it, as
Yes.
simple as it is.
How closely do you think James and the story captured your essence?
I would say 99.9%.
What was the point?
I mean, I think that James Franco is like a similar type to him, just in a different order. I could be wrong, but I think that they could both be the 379 trifix. So this is, I mean, I think that's kind of how you should cast, because you're going to get an actor that actually embodies a character better if you're using the Enneagram, even though they didn't use it. But it's like, I mean, he has like a fake James Dean thing going on, but I'm pretty sure he's like 7 fixed because he's such a little degenerate pig.
Okay, all right.
I want to watch James Franco, even though we just kind of soft typed him, I guess, a little bit. Do you have thoughts on that? What is this? What is he wearing with these gloves?
Oh, I have to join the shade. Okay, there. That's all him.
I love it. Oh, fuck.
It was just a life, you know. I used to go to school. I have tendency, as I told you 2 minutes ago, write something on a piece of paper. Then I put everything together. The script was, I wrote the script and then decided to do a feature movie. So as you know, in the beginning of the room was a little tricky because people don't understand sometimes vision of a director or a producer. So I'm happy what happened. So
You're happy with what happened?
yeah, absolutely.
Were you?
I don't think he's like an 8-wing 9 or anything. I mean, I think he's a positive type.
Well, what kind of controversies have they involved themselves in, or if any?
It is like always just centered around his weird personality. I don't think he's done anything offensive per se. I think people are just like, what the fuck is wrong? What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Or like what like he's just weird, right? So like I definitely don't get like 369 try off him. Like he has hexad, and I think he's social last because yeah, I mean he looks SPSX to me, but just with his style. He's like a grimy, happy swamp monster. Like, I definitely don't doubt 7 for his head though. If you watch, and that's not a compliment because if you watch The Room, it's like he may be head last. I mean, we can watch, see, maybe something will come up.
Just a little something.
Sure, it's yours.
Wow, you look so sexy, Lisa. I would do anything for my girl.
Oh, hi, Danny.
Anything for my princess. Nice to see you, Danny. I'm going to take a nap.
You always think.
All right, I'm ready.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ouch! Danny, do you have something else to do? Danny, 2 is great, but 3 is a crowd. That's the idea. Bye, Danny. Oh.
Sorry, Calvin.
Thanks a lot. Bye. Hi, babe. Pizza for you. Nah. But son of a bitch told me that I would get it within 3 months. I saved 10 bundles. You're crazy. I don't think I will ever get it. They betrayed me. They didn't keep their promise. They tricked me, and I don't care.
I feel like he has to be 7 wing 8 head. Are you there, Calvin? Are you?
I don't have an opinion on that yet.
I wish maybe I can find the line that he's this part. I haven't watched this movie in so long.
What's new with you? Oh, sure we are. Well, we'll see. Danny, don't plan too much. It may not come out right. Okay. Shoot, Danny. Go on. Go on. Danny, don't worry about that. Lisa loves you too, as a person, as a human being, as a friend. You know, people don't have to say it. They can feel it. You can love someone deep inside your heart, and there is nothing wrong with it. If a lot of people love each other, the world would be a better place to live. Danny, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
I mean, it's all very 9 wing 80, and also like 9s are kind of emo, especially 9 wing 8s. I feel like really can be emo, romantic, like I don't know. I can't remember the big lines from this, so I'm not even gonna bother. But yeah, he like, I think if he was like a core assertive type, he would have made more things happen. But I think when he sort of realized, oh, I can get attention for this one thing I've made, I'll just keep milking it and milking it and milking it until I can't anymore.
Right. So what year? Wait, what year was The Room made?
Oh my God, I don't even know, like a million years ago. It was like made in the 90s or maybe early
Okay,
on.
like what other stuff has he done since, or
Hang on, let me just look it up.
or is there a interview with him, like, you know, like maybe closer to current time where he's like, you know,
No, he's always been old.
came out of the womb with the same face.
Tell me Wiseau young. I'm just doing this off whatever. Oh, wait. No, he's always been old. I don't know how old he is. I don't think you can find it on the internet. I mean, maybe on like Reddit or something, but yeah, like he hides his age, which also points to me for 7 in the Heads Under, because it's like the Peter Pan thing. I have a weird thing about I don't tell my age, so.
Yep, I've observed that a few times.
Okay, share his IMDb. So what else has he done? Okay, so he has a new film coming out, Big Shark, that he wrote. I'm sure it's gonna be spectacular. 3 firefighters must save New Orleans from a shark attack. Okay. I mean, I'll probably watch it. Director. Yeah, Big Shark. I don't know what the fuck The Neighbors is. Some weird TV show.
I mean, actually, I'm curious to see like if there's like, what is that? Like here it's
Oh my
yeah,
God.
it's a low rating. And I'm curious if there's any interview on kind of like I don't know if there's any interview on, let's just say, The Neighbors, and I'm curious like how he's responding to any feedback from it or
Like, well, or do you mean just like the interaction with other people? Is this like what you mean, or?
because again, we've only seen, like, at least from here, we've only seen him in the context of him speaking about The Room. So I'm curious how he would talk about his other films or
I think I think that's the thing is like it's his like one hit wonder. I think that's really all you can find. Um, oh my God. Whoa, what's in my bag? I kind of like watching these sometimes.
Tommy was performing a scene in acting class in which he was playing Stanley Kowalski, who's yelling Stella. And I was watching that sitting in the class, and that's when I thought I need to approach that guy because I think he's got an interesting approach to acting.
I don't pitch anything except the disaster artist, The Room. That's it. I'm just teasing. But this is classic. So I would strongly.
Unless he's like some weird, unless he's like, imagine he's like a 9-wing 852 or something.
yeah, actually, yeah, because I'm thinking about it, like again, I'm just playing with this hypothetical. Like a 7 core would not just milk a single thing. It's like kind
Oh
of
my
like
God, no, I didn't think he was a 7 core, but
yeah. I'm just playing and throwing. They would just like be like, oh, like the next kind of project will be imbued of like, oh, this is the so much potential. And it's like, I was like, oh yeah, like The Room. It's like, yeah, that was cool, but like that's kind of gone old and
oh
off
my
to the
God,
next
you're
thing.
right.
And I'm just wondering like why is he like, again, I understand like, if The Room's most successful, but he's like leaning into it, and I'm just trying to again, if like, 9-wing 8 with 7
Could he be a 9-wing 852? He has to have a 2 fix if he's 5 fixed. Like maybe
what do
5
you
or
mean?
4. I'm just entertaining this combo because he seems like very positive and open, but then he's also very weirdly rejection-y too in some weird ways because it's like he's got like only his one trick pony. And he kind of blocks out. But I see 7s doing it and 5 in the head center doing it where it's like, but it does seem actually weirdly rejection-y what he's. Oh, this is like throwing me for a loop. Could he be a 952?
Yeah, I don't see any sign of 2 influence anywhere.
There's no way he'd be a 953. So it's either like he's a 973 or a 952 because he has to have double positive, in my opinion. I mean, if you look at it through this lens, you can look at it through this lens of like he's got his 3 thing where he's just promoting himself endlessly, but it's weirdly so, I mean, it could be social last, but it's so weirdly like just cringe. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like this guy just, oh, here it is, just keeps posting the same thing over and over and over.
Right. It's a less it's in your face. There isn't much subtlety or
Yeah. Where that might point to like there being not maybe 3 of like reading the room kind of, you know what I mean? But he
no.
goes to all these screenings and he likes meeting his fans, which could be 2. He seems double positive to me. He seems double positive to me for sure. He has, if you think about it, he's got a positive self-image too. Um, and if he's got 5, then he's not going to have the same kind of two-y, here, I help you. Especially if he's social last, it might be like this fucking weird 2 shit. I mean, he does seem to really like James Franco, and he really liked this, and he made a movie about him. This is like blowing my mind.
Yeah, I don't agree with that line of reasoning.
What do you think it is?
Or rather, like at least in reference to like trying to determine a 2 in the heart. Like I still experience like 2 in the heart still has like a rejection offering. This is like again like an offering in the heart. Like again, think of like 2. I'm the one who's pumping your heart. You don't even know your heart is there, but I can see it, and I'm pumping it for you. I'm the one in control of it.
Yeah, but not
kind
if
of.
it's like if it's just a fix. That's too core. As a fix, it's more wanting to be seen as like wanting to be seen as like kind of like helpful and nurturing, and like I mean they're also kind of weirdly victims and everything else, so it's like two's kind of complicated as a fix, but
Yeah, I don't get that sense from him at all.
he actually weirdly looks like a 9-wing 872 that I know. But he doesn't have that. I don't know, man. I'm kind of like down this idea train now. Because he definitely has something hexad going on. Maybe it's double hexad. I mean, he's fucking weird. Like, this is not. Actually, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, no, this is not 973. He's too weird. He's too, like, off the wall.
Dream is alive, it's real, and I'm American, I'm proud of the room, etc. That's it. That's what I want to say. Nice thing. But as you notice, somebody was like, no, you cannot do that. It was a funny moment. I mean, I enjoy it, you know. I think everybody was very kind, and I was actually...
I don't know, man. He's dropping a bunch of 2 stuff now if you're the...
I don't see it as 2 or related.
Surprise. So everybody was like, you know, some kind of magic, you know, on this event. So really,
You didn't know James was going to call you up on stage, did you?
No. Actually, that was set up through Greg, because Greg pushing me to go. And long story short, then he called me. So I said I was much more comfortable. But I say I'm not, because I don't want to intrude. You know what I'm saying? So,
all right. For those who don't know,
oh no, I think he's too fixed.
And prior to making the movie, I know you'd taken acting lessons.
Absolutely.
Did you have any other background to make a movie?
No, just acting, and I did some research. As you know, the film industry always been sort of, you know, difficult
to break into
it. So I decided to do my own stuff.
All right. Well, here is a result of his own stuff. Look at this.
How dare you talk to me like that? You should tell me everything.
I can't talk right now.
Why, Lisa? Please talk to me, please.
Dude, this is like 2 shit. This is fucking hilarious. Oh my god, how did I not see it? Well, now I have to think about his head. I know you're disagreeing right now, but I'm pretty locked in. I feel like I know too when I see it. But it doesn't show up as loud as a fix. It's, I don't know, it makes sense actually, because if you have 2 or 4 when you're 9, it makes you way more like romantic and like tortured. It's the sort of like I give and I love, like I don't know. This all is coming together for me. Sorry, Calvin. I am listening to your opinion, but now I'm hooked in. It's 2. I'm sold. It's 2. See it. I can't unsee it.
I'm not saying this to hurt your feelings.
No, just say whatever you want.
Some people say that's awful.
You know what? Whatever they say is fine with me as long people enjoy it. I always say, you know what? You may not like the room, but you will find something there will attract you. That's all.
In the disaster,
and I can tap myself on the shoulder. It's a good job.
In the disaster artist,
did a good job. Is it 5 or is it 7? Do you have an impression on his head?
I mean, again, I am curious. I'm curious about the differences between, let's say, like again, differences between like I'm thinking with the sunglasses always on, the differences between why, let's say, 5 fixer might have them on versus 7 fixer, if you want to go that angle. Because again, it could be like there is a certain kind of, again, you have spoken about like creating a bit of mystery, or like you can't really access a kind of, again, you have spoken about, 9 with like rejection influence being like, oh yeah, I'm just taking up space in this kind of manner, where I can just chillax however I want, kind of way. I'm just trying to think of it in again, has his ideas been any videos of like his ideas being like specifically criticized?
No.
No, yeah,
Not that I'm
because that
aware
might
of.
determine.
I mean, he has some stuff in his, I think, films that are, I don't know, I think like I don't know if he slaps the girl, I can't remember what happens, but I feel like it's either his head center is either 7 wing 8 or it's like 5 wing 4 or something. I'm just trying to think of like
Because
triple positive, social last, or 952. 952 is weird though. 952 is a weird type. Um, and the 5, at least in my opinion, kind of shows up in this almost invisible way. But he does have a competency orientation somewhere in his type. Although 7s can have a kind of competency look to them. Today's words: romance, adventure, love you all. Tell me why so. He's got to be either a 9 wing 8 7 2 or a 9 wing 8 5 2. Probably 2 wing 3. Oh, I have to go in a few minutes too. I want to like get this before I jump out. I'm trying to think of any like social last triple positives. I kind of think he's head last. I mean, I think you made a good point against 7, because he is just doing the same thing over and over and over again. I mean, I would lean 5 wing 4, but it could be 5 wing 6 if it's 5. I don't know. Fuck, I
I
wish I
also
would.
wonder if there's any, like again, I know if 9 wing 8, any shifts with even something as simple as his fashion, or
No,
like
no,
I'm
he always
bored. I'm bored with the sunglasses and just kind of like, oh, I want to try something new, or
no.
no.
I mean, he has rejection in his type anyway, so he would maybe have like a more limited thing, but no, I think he's maintained this sort of this look, this persona for the entire time that he has been making stuff. I think he said his accent changes, but I don't think it's just because he talks weird. And maybe because he's 9. But I think sometimes 5 fix with 9 and 2 seems positive, any like triple positive almost in some weird way, but it's like offbeat positive. I could see him having a wing 4 on his 5. I mean, that's impression based though, so I don't have like anything to really back it up other than he has this kind of romantic streak.
I mean, I can see that as like I'm still like I can see again the I'm just trying to think. Again, I'm just trying to figure the way framing his work more so. Again, it's about the project kind of base itself. Again, it's like going back to some of the earlier points, it's like I've spent so much time like fine-tuning this vision.
Yeah.
Kind of I can see that as, all right, if you want to argue like, all right, let's just say hypothetically, I can see that tiny bit of image frustration. So you can say like either 3-wing 4 or 5-wing 4, something with that little bit of like frustration in the heart influence.
Yeah, I think it's 5-wing forehead because he's not eager enough, I don't think either to be a 972. Like 972s are kind of like trying to think of how to describe it. But he doesn't have that like I mean he does have that like smiling, but I think that there's something uncanny about it when it's 5 with 2 and 9. Like I don't know, I've typed a couple of people of that try and there's something uncanny about them. They're kind of like
I'm
gives me
just
almost like
wondering.
ventriloquist sort of energy.
I'm assuming that part of why you've like written off like something like 9935 and 953 is
No.
because you're comparing it to like different other people you've typed of that trifix.
No,
and
no. It's
there's a
he's
mismatch.
not. It's not that. He's too zany, he's too weird, he's too positive. I mean, I feel like once you see 2, or at least for me anyways, 2 and 4, like I'm usually pretty okay with noticing what people's heart centers are. Because it can be hard to explain 4 and 2 as a fix because it's not showing up the same way. It's like a flavor. It's more like, oh, I recognize this seasoning. It's like it's not it's like especially like 9-3, right, is like a shapeshifter kind of combo. He's not a shapeshifter at all. He's doing the same broken record thing over and over and over. He's Tommy Wiseau, you know what I mean? And he's like one of a kind. Like he's very weird. Like I can't think of a single other person that I would think of that is like Tommy Wiseau. Like he's just bizarre. Like that to me is like not 9-3. Like you can be into weird stuff, but he's just fucking weird, you know? Like he's zany. Like he seems like, and I feel like even if you imagine like being his friend or is dating him or something, I feel like he would be getting all these weird presents and like strange poems or something. Sorry, Calvin, I'm not trying to steamroll you.
No. I'm again I'm just again, we're just coming from different places with this.
Yeah, and I'm not always good at explaining why I'm seeing what I'm seeing. I always try to be open, but as soon as I like lock in and I'm like, oh, that's what it is, then it's like, yeah. But look at him. No, this is 952. This is fucking.
Is there anything about like anything more on his personal life, like outside of filmmaking?
No, it's all very closed. It's hard to find like personal information about him. It's hidden. It's like I don't think you can find out where he actually was born. Like I think he's SPSX, but like I think his private I mean that makes sense if he's 9-wing 8 plus 5. Yeah, and social last. Like he's keeping that shit on lock, like SP Dom. Like I think he makes sense to me that he would be like 9-8-5-4. Probably 2-wing 3. Yeah, he doesn't seem like he doesn't have any 3 at all. And also just like I don't think he can have 6 actually because I don't know. It's like there is this lack of social awareness, even though he's like, I give you love, like come to my thing, everyone be happy, na. But like it's like he's totally not paying attention really to people. It's like sort of this like
I mean, yeah, I do agree I'm not seeing 6 influence.
yeah. And also here's the thing too is like I think that like I think that it's like certain traits are attributed to 3 in the heart center that still apply to 2 and 4, where it's like, oh, this person cares about, whatever. It's like tons of 2-wing 3s care about 3-ish things, where they want like the finer things. They like my mom's a 2-wing 3, and it's like she wants like the luxurious creams and like especially SP doms. But there's like these things that are attributed to like 3. Not that that's what we were talking about, but it's like that still apply to like 2-wing 3 and 4-wing 3. You know what I mean? So it's I definitely, yeah, can't unsee the 2. It's like he's so gooey. We just have a good time, guys. And also, it makes sense actually. I was thinking that the planning, the ego around the preparation was coming from the 9 stuff, which I think it was, but I think it probably makes sense for 5 too, because like you said, it's like 5's
Narrowing in on a
I've spent
single
fucking
point.
10 years down it. Yeah.
Yeah, and like that's all that matters, and like everything else is like distracting, is a distraction from, yeah, in that tiny hole.
Yeah. Yeah. 953 is also like kind of robotic and kind of lizardy, even like the warmest 953s, you know, like with 2 and 1 and 6, it's like there's still a kind of Slytherin. It's like a smiling Slytherin kind of thing, and he's gooey. He's got like a gooey kind of, hey guys, come to my house. Here's this weird candy. Like, that's kind of what he seems like. Come to my room, my special room.
Yeah, I just can't see the gooiness.
Okay. Well, we can disagree.
Yeah.
We can disagree. It's okay, right? Yeah. Okay, well, what do you type him?
I mean, like it is like overall, like given I know we started with 7 head, but like or everything we've mentioned about like again his lack of variety and all that, not enough frustration to like be trying all these new projects. I would have to like again a soft typing of like a 953. Well, actually no, 3. I'm gonna yeah.
With like
3-wing 4. I would agree. Like again, like 9-wing 8, 5-wing 4, 3-wing 4.
Okay.
At least that's the closest I'm getting so far.
Do you agree SPSX?
Yeah, it's actually reminds me a little bit of again the whole sunglasses thing of like Salt, if you know Salt Bay.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Again, it's the same kind of like sunglasses hiding I don't need to really be showing you how much kind of yeah, and like having this like as a consistent kind of aesthetic.
What do you type in?
Hmm?
What do you type in?
So far, I admittedly I haven't seen anything against like Salt Bay was one of Dark Arts Academy's first typings, and so far it was
Promoting anybody else here.
no, I'm not. No, and so far, no, and I didn't see any holes in the reasoning. Then where was it? I think they typed in self-pres sexual 3-wing 4 379.
Maybe. I don't know. I
So
don't find that guy
again,
interesting.
I'm just drawing back. I only brought that up because of like the sunglasses, kind of like for like a self-pres sexual kind of like
Oh yeah,
no.
I think it's for sure self-presexual.
Yeah, and there is this sense of like there's no air, there isn't social air breathing room. You're just kind of like, as you said, like what you kind of attributed as, oh, come to my room, kind of gooey. It's like the dungeon. Like you can imagine him as I'm in my dungeon.
To me, that's wing 8. That's 9-wing 8 and 2. That's an SPSX though too. It's like I don't know. I can just imagine there is like some weird dungeon with like roses all over it, and like he's down there topless with like his long.
Well, it'll just be. It's just a room. It's just a room.
Special room. I don't know. Okay, well we can just disagree. I basically type in the same thing but with a 2-wing 3 heart. So yeah. I don't know. I'm like sensitive to 2-iness though. So, Okay, well that's cool. I like that we figured out. I feel like if you hadn't come on, I probably would have like butchered um these types. So thank you, Calvin.
It's just you. It's just the universe's call.
Even if we disagree on one part of the typing, I still feel like, yeah, you brought yeah, like a lot of stuff that I
Yeah,
like.
it's actually really surprising for me because like I don't really go. Generally don't type celebrities. And I don't like making a fool of my own reasoning on camera. But
Oh,
I still I still came here and gave it a go, and I did fine here. So
yeah, you
yay
did
for me.
great.
Yes.
I guess I don't care so much. It's like, oh, I made all these points for her being uh whatever her name is, Rachel, being whatever type earlier, and I don't know. I mean, usually I cut these things out a little bit in the edit, but fuck, I just don't care anymore. I don't have ego around being perfect, so it's fine. Um, okay. Well, I hope that like whoever watches this enjoys it too. And I hope did you have a good time? I'm gonna be like Tommy Wiseau. Did you have a fun time, Cairo?
I had a stimulating time.
Ooh. You're gonna write your
Rather the keyword more no, not stimulating, focused.
Oh,
I was
okay.
focused. So it was good. It's good in the sense for being in a moment. Like it's an activity I am focusing on with you. I'm not like being distracted by anything else.
Yeah.
So it was good for that.
Well, if you want to come on any other calls, like, and you have like a window that you're sometimes free, if you would want
Like
to
I do.
film.
Okay, I do also know a while back that you were also interested in Dan Harmon.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, we can do him. I think yeah, he's got to be like a 694 or 964 or something, I think.
Oh, well, I just see like there's a 6,
Miserable
7,
prefix.
and there is a 6, 7 area kind of flippancy. Like again, there is like dynamics. Especially, it's interesting. Do you know about the apology, the big apology he's kind
Oh
of
yeah,
done
I
about like
saw
sexual
the
harassment?
opening. I saw the oh wait.
Right.
Oh
Yeah.
wait,
So
the
that.
apology, is that from him being alcoholic or
No, this is like so it's kind of pointed out like sexual harassment in the workplace, and he was kind of ignorant to a lot of like how he's been treating women who's kind of worked under him, or kind of like talking down and being condescending. And eventually it's like years later he's finally doing this huge speech in front of people acknowledging like how he didn't see he was partially aware of like what he doing, it wasn't like good, but he like kept on going with it, and he's finally like apologizing, and like it actually hits him that like how much he's hurt other people. Like
well,
it's
maybe it's a 7.
yeah, maybe
I haven't looked at him in forever. I used to go to Harmontown when I lived in LA. I loved it. I went every fucking week. I would drink. I would share weird drinks with all these random people, and then we'd all go out to karaoke after. And Dan Harmon would come out. Jeff would come out. Like it was fun. I'm being a name dropper right now, but it was like I have fond thoughts of Dan Harmon, even if he's a perp. I mean, I like went because he's a funny pervert, but anyway, whatever. Um, I'll have to watch that if that's a thing. Is that a thing to watch? The
yeah, should be
like make me
yes.
barf. I hate the apology tour. I feel like people shouldn't apologize. But maybe that's the difference between 7 and 6 head. Oh no, you know what? I remember hearing about this when it came out. Yeah, I mean, he kind of looks like a 9 wing 8, but anyways, I'll look into this though. Thank you. Like ended it on a high note. Don't apologize for harassing people. I mean, you should apologize for that, but not everything. Okay. I mean, when celebrities get canceled, I feel like you damn yourself when you apologize. I almost feel like you should double down and just not apologize and then make that your new thing and like piggyback off of it, like Milo Yiannopoulos or one of those people where it's like you just just double down and don't give the mob their pound of flesh, because when you give them 1 pound of flesh, they want thousands of pounds of flesh. So, anyways. ending on that note. You just DM me, Calvin. Let me know when you're free if you want to do any of that. And
Yes.
okay. Thank you so much for jumping on. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a beautiful night, morning, afternoon. It's the middle of the night.
It is morning here.
Is this like 4 a.m. or something?
No, 8 a.m.
Oh, damn.
But that's okay. My sleep schedule is wrecked anyway, so
Oh, here's like a self-pres hot tip. Magnesium malate if you have sleeping trouble. That shit knocks me out like a baby, I swear by it. Puts you into like a sweet little coma for 8 hours. Magnesium malate. And it makes your body feel nice too. Okay. Okay.